swear to me that you enjoy all of the palaver that comes with every new Batman movie released. Swear to me! That's right, Bat fans. It's Batman on the latest YouTube video. And I'm here to discuss Batman. Let me just take my mask off. And be half Batman, half Bruce Wayne. Hello, it's the video of the week. If you hadn't noticed, there's a new Batman movie released, so it was time to chat a little bit about Batman. And as you can see, I have an eclectic selection of Batman movies in terms of format. I've got movies on DVD because I've just kept the special edition DVDs. I have a Blu-ray of Batman Returns, we'll come back to that later, and a steelbook of The Dark Knight Rises, we'll come back to that later. 3D Blu-ray of Batman vs Superman with the, it's a cool lenticular sleeve there. We will come back to that later. There's all the usual hype and dissenting opinions when a new Batman movie is released. A lot of people get tired of it. It's kind of like when there's a new Bond picked. But I think, for me, cinematically, I think Batman is always worth seeing on screen. I think he's more interesting than Superman, who is, you know, essentially the big American Boy Scout who can fly and have other superpowers. But it wasn't always the case. Obviously, the old TV show. This isn't a complete history of Batman. There are other iterations of Batman. I'm not going to be able to cover absolutely everything about Batman. First of all, I don't have the resources, and second of all, I'm not an encyclopedia of Batman facts and history. But anyway, you'll know the TV show and the movie with Adam West, Dick Grayson, and a number of great stars in the role of the villains, mainly Cesar Romero as the Joker, Frank Gorshin was the Riddler, Burgess Meredith was the Penguin, and I think, is it already Julie Newmar as Catwoman? In this one, Lee Merriweather as Catwoman. Very good. Very different from what we see nowadays, but still, I think Bat fans will always appreciate Batman the movie and the old TV series if they grew up seeing clips of that. So, you know, with everything that comes on, let's not feel we have to entirely discard the past of a character. It is what it is, and it's a lot of fun. It's a very specific style and deserves appreciation for that. Then, obviously, the big deal, Batman, as you can see, this 2-disc DVD is a 15. Batman was the first, I believe, 12 certificate here in the UK. I know this because I argued with my mother about using my pocket money to see it. She didn't want to take me to see it, and I said, well, I can go on my own anyway. And I did. It was brilliant. Michael Keaton is still my favourite Batman / Bruce Wayne. I think he's just the most interesting actor who's been in that role. And the Burton films, the first two films of the modern era of cinematic Batman, really explore that in a great way. I think this has the double whammy of Keaton being magnificent and Jack Nicholson being magnificent. He's still my favourite Joker. He has that mix of flipping on a dime between insanity, real danger, and just being silly, which I love about the character from the few comic book versions I have read. Batman Returns, why I have this on Blu-ray and why I'm sure British film fans may already know, is there's a commentary on this by Tim Burton, and it was always advertised on the special edition DVD. It was never on there It was because the film was trimmed by a few seconds. I can't recall if it was to do with the microwave bomb or if there was anything that looked like nunchucks or both. But it was trimmed, and they couldn't fit the commentary track around that. I actually many years ago emailed Warner Brothers to inquire about that and received no response at all, despite the fact it was advertised on the back of every special edition DVD copy. And I mentioned that I thought it was, you know, kind of in breach of advertising standards. It said it was on there and it wasn't on there. I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know if that was absolutely fine because it had to be changed due to the censorship. It just struck me as off, and you know, I've kind of been a little bit against Warner Brothers ever since then. Batman Returns is memorable as well for having Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman, who is amazing in it. I think Danny DeVito is a lot of fun, but it explores that dichotomy in a more interesting way with Batman and Catwoman, and I love it. Batman Forever. Batman Forever was probably the Batman I watched the most, because I think it was the first one that I got straight away on VHS. I think it holds up well enough for me, because Jim Carrey's a lot of fun as the Riddler. You also get Tommy Lee Jones as Two-Face, and who else is in there again? Oh, Chris O'Donnell appears as the Robin this time around. All of these have a great Alfred in the shape of Michael Gough. So he's through the four of these Batman movies. And whether or not the end result is good, I think they are well cast. So that really helps in our favour. Then we get to Batman and Robin, which everyone knows is a big mess with nipples on the suits. Arnie is too cheesy as Mr. Freeze. Uma Thurman is wonderful as Poison Ivy, and Alicia Silverstone is very good there as well. Again, I think it's well cast. I like the Bane that they use there. If I remember right, it's a wrestler. Maybe it's not Jesse Ventura, is it? It's someone who, when they get pumped up, he's used, but he's a minor character in that one. So, you know, I can understand why people prefer Tom Hardy's version, which we'll come to. Batman Begins. I've just not upgraded the Blu-ray on this yet. I probably should. I really like this film. I get the complaints about it with the editing style as it is, but I think that's a really sort of a choice to show Batman's preferred method of stunning and surprising opponents. I think Bale's great in the role. He's very good there. And you have Cillian Murphy, and is Liam Neeson in this one, I believe. Michael Caine is a great new Alfred. What else can I say about it? I'm not a big fan of... It's Katie Holmes in this one, right? Anyway, it's good. It's a great start to what would be Nolan's trilogy. Most people prefer The Dark Knight. I think I'm coming around to their way of thinking. I certainly like it on a par with Batman Begins. I think it's brilliant. I think Heath Ledger is brilliant as a Joker, but again, I've just got to say, like, he's not my favourite Joker because of the reasons I gave for my preference for Jack Nicholson. Aaron Eckhart is in this as Harvey Dent, and you know, we know what happens to his character. There are some great set pieces here. It's really good. Batman Begins and The Dark Knight are top tier. I know Tyler would disagree, but there we go. And then we come to The Dark Knight Rises, which I went to see at the cinema as well. And everyone remembers this one as, you know, the introduction of Bane, Tom Hardy's character. Now you may scream. That's him. Anne Hathaway is Catwoman. She's good in that role. It's still a bit of a mess though. I've not rewatched it in a long time, so I may change my mind if I get to that at some point soon. Nolan just, I think he loses sight a little bit of kind of the essence of the character. He's so determined to end this trilogy and end this journey in a certain way and at a certain place that it becomes just problematic in terms of the pacing, in terms of the kind of focus of the character's motivations. It doesn't help that I used to own I think it was 3 special editions. It was basically Nightfall, which is a big storyline with Bane in there, and the Broken Bat. There's a famous comic cover with Bane kind of holding Batman aloft before he brings him down and breaks his back. That is excellent and certainly served as part of the inspiration for The Dark Knight Rises. The Dark Knight Rises doesn't come anywhere close to that, which, you know, part of the fault is my own expectations and part of it is Nolan, I think, making mistakes on the way. And then we get to Batman versus Superman. It is good. There's also somewhere about here Justice League. You know, I like Affleck's tired, grizzled take on the character. A lot of people recognise that from is it the Dark Knight 1 and 2, and he's good. He ended up in movies that weren't as really cohesive as they could have been, and we all know about the whole Martha plot device, which is ridiculous. But there you go. Cinematically, those are the main Batmen. My favourite is still Keaton, despite his relatively short stature. I just think he was still great at making that a figure that would make such a strong impression that, you know, he would scare off the criminals and then deal with the rest that were there in a very capable way, and had lots of, as Jack Nicholson said, wonderful toys. I would also encourage people who I'm sure have already done so to check out the animated Batman adventures, and there's usually an offer on for some of the bundles. I got the animated Batman movie bundle for however much it is. I wouldn't want to say in case anybody watches this that's worrying about my finances, but it was very good. Highlights for me are Gotham by Gaslight, which takes a Jack the Ripper tale and uses Batman characters in there. Batman Ninja is really cool and has a very different style and is set in this feudal Japan. It's just like really a really good blend of Batman characters and iconography with the Japanese animation style that you would know from not necessarily Studio Ghibli and Miyazaki, but definitely that level of care and tenderness that is on the frame. And what else is that? There's, I think it's the Return of the Caped Crusaders, has Adam West and Burt Ward doing voices. It's very cute and so many to choose from. Batman at one point meets the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That's a fun one. Obviously he's worked with and fought against Superman a couple of times. Lots of people love Under the Red Hood and Mask of the Phantasm. There's just some really cool adventures along the way. Like a lot of people, I had problems with the animated film adventure of Killing Joke, but it's another person worth mentioning is Mark Hamill voicing the Joker in the animated films. He's very good. He does very good work in that. But Killing Joke has at least 1 or 2 big problems on the way, so it disappointed a lot of people who wanted to see a version of that. But other ones I'm still to check out. I think it's Batman Hush and I can't recall if I've seen The Long Halloween. So there will always be more for me to explore, and I'm looking forward to seeing The Batman. If you have and enjoyed it, then comment away, but please keep it spoiler free. I don't know when I'm getting to the cinema, even though I'd really like to, and if I can't get the timing right, I'm going to have to wait a lot longer. In that case, I know that if I stumble upon spoilers, it's on me, because I could have tried and tried and tried. But I don't know. We'll see. I'm looking forward to it. I'm expecting something a bit different from other Batman movies, but with a lot of familiarity. So that's it. Anyway, I have to go because Gotham needs me.